Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for another YouTube practice. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to subscribe and it will help me to continue offering this free yoga resource to you. So yes, before we get started today, I just want to say that for any of you doing these flows with me, watching these flows, for those of you who do subscribe to the channel and things like that, I really appreciate your support, and I hope that these practices are really kind of assisting you in whatever way that you need and in whatever way you're seeking. And I started my yoga journey through doing a lot of practice online because I couldn't get into a studio, and that's one of my reasons why I want to give this back to you. So I thought I would just share that today. We're doing another power kind of vinyasa flow. It's very twisty, so it's going to be fun and dynamic, but as always, please do listen to your body and, you know, take options that you need. Take a child's pose at any time. So we'll start in a comfortable seated position, and we're going to bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart center. Close down the eyes or take a steady gaze. Start to notice your breath. See if you can feel the connection between your hands and these parts of your body. Allow your sitting bones to sink down into the ground. Let the shoulders relax. Let the face relax, the jaw. Let go of anything that came before this, or any thoughts of anything that may come afterwards. Allow yourself to come into this present moment. And we can use our breath as an anchor to ground us, to bring us there, to bring us into the now, by just listening, connecting, observing. Opening the eyes back up if you had them closed. We'll release the hands, and we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop out to the side, finding our Baddha Konasana bound angle position. If you want to have blocks under the thighs here, you absolutely can. So take an inhale, lift your ribs away from your hips. As you exhale, seeing if you could take that gentle fold forwards, leading with the chest. Remembering we're at the beginning of the practice. You need to stay higher up, you absolutely can. As you inhale, finding that sense of space, maybe a little lift through the chest. As you exhale, relaxing into that fold. Inhale, we lift, we lengthen. Exhale, we fold forwards. Checking in with the hip space, Malasana. So that's our energy center located in this area. So just noticing how this part of the body feels today as we come into our practice. Inhale, lift the chest, come back to center. I'm going to open the legs out wide. Doesn't matter how wide the legs come or don't come, just coming into that wide leg stance. We'll inhale here again, make that space, and then on the exhale, gently edging forwards. But it's important that we keep the legs switched on, and we want the thighs shining up towards the ceiling. So as you come forwards, keeping the spine long, coming to a place that works for you. Opening into the hips, the groin, the inside of the legs. Reconnect with your breath here. Inhale, we're going to slowly start to release, come back up. Coming into our side stretch now. Inhale, sweep the left fingertips up to the sky and start to stretch over to the right. Now it could be that you're kind of staying up here somewhere, or you might be coming lower down. Maybe this left hand finds the right foot. But if it does, or whichever position you're in, just make sure that the gaze and the heart are shining up towards the ceiling, so we've got that space across the chest. Deep stretch into the left side body, sending your breath into this area as we open. Inhale, come back to center, flow over to the other side. Remember to shine the heart and the gaze up to the sky. Inhale, come up to center. Now we're going to bring the legs in slightly, knees are bent, feet are roughly slightly further than hip width apart, and we're going to see if you can shift into your Malasana. Now, if you need to bring your hands down, use your hands here, you absolutely can. For a lot of us, our ankles and our knee joint are not going to support that movement, so just be mindful of that. If you're rolling around on the floor right now, that is okay. Meet in your Malasana, take any support that you need with blocks and props. Crown of the head's reaching towards the ceiling, engage through Mula Bandha. So that means engaging our pelvic floor, the muscles at the seat of the pelvis, our energy, we're sealing our energy at the root. Right fingertips come down to the mat. Inhale, left fingertips reach up to the sky. Either stay here or option to take a little bind. So that means that we've got the left hand taking the right wrist. So my hands, my arms, as you can see, are wrapping round this right leg. Be really mindful with binds. Again, this is something that you really don't want to force. So if it does not feel right, the range of movement does not feel right, don't take it. Releasing from the stretch or the bind, we come to the other side. Left fingertips come down. Right fingertips up to the sky, follow with the gaze. Option to find your bind here, if it feels good for you, if it feels right for you. Nice, and release. Bring the hands back to heart center. We're going to power up through the legs slightly, but we're going to come into a forward fold. So feet are coming in, so they're roughly hip width apart. Make sure you've got plenty of bend through the legs. Folding over, letting the head hang heavy. Take a little sway here. Maybe just shifting from side to side. Then we're going to take a bend through the left leg. Left hand comes down, right fingertips reach up to the sky. Follow with the gaze. Exhale, release. Right leg bends, right hand comes down, left fingertips reach up. Exhale, release. Hands come to the hips. Inhale, draw the belly button in towards the spine, lift the chest, find your Tadasana mountain pose. So standing at the top of the mat now. Inhale, fingertips reach up to the sky, lift your ribs away from your hips. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, step or jump back to plank. Work your way through your vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, back to your downward facing dog. Or you can take a child's pose here if you need to. Hips lifting up towards the sky, making that space. Take a pedal out through the feet. Feeling into the backs of the legs. Maybe you can start to feel into that hip space as well here. Inhale, gaze comes between the hands, step or jump the feet in, lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, hands come back through to heart center. Inhale, fingertips reach to the sky. Exhale, we fold forwards. Inhale, we lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, step or jump the feet back. Work through your chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep that right leg up, find a three-leg dog, open into the hips. Sweep the right leg through between the hands, find your warrior one. Right side. Open out, find warrior two. Relax the shoulders, get low, deep into that right leg. Make sure that the knee is stacked above the ankle. Inhale here, exhale, come into your extended side angle. Breathing here. Now from here we're going to transition into Trikonasana. So you may need to lift the chest slightly here to give you some space, lengthening through that front leg. Opening out, finding your triangle position. Breathing here. Inhale, lifting back up, and we're going to float forward and find your half moon position. Mindful that I have a plants in very close proximity. So finding that half moon, and then option for a little add-on, if you wish to, you're going to bend that left foot and the left hand comes to the left foot, and you can press the hips forwards. Just finding a nice juicy stretch here. It's just an option, you don't have to take it. Slowly releasing with control from your half moon. Float the hands back round, step back, well done. Come through your vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, come back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg sweeps up to the sky, three-leg dog. Stay strong through the arms and the shoulders, opening the hip. Sweep that left foot through between the hands. Warrior one, arms reach up to the sky. Opening out, finding your warrior two. Sinking down, low in your warrior two. Relax the shoulders. Inhale here, on the exhale, find your extended side angle. And we find that transition to Trikonasana. So lift up as much as you need to come into this. Be mindful of that front leg as we lengthen and find Trikonasana, gaze coming up to the ceiling. Keep the right leg nice and active to support you here, pressing down into the mat. Inhale, start to lift back up. Take some bend into that left leg, floating into your half moon pose. Well done. Breathing into those wobbles and shakes. Remember, if you need to come in and out, please do. Maybe you're bending the right leg and taking the right hand to that right foot or ankle, finding a little opening here, pressing the hips forwards. That's just an option. Don't have to take it. Slowly releasing with control. Step back, find your plank. And inhaling into your upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Well done. Come back to your breath. Come back to your connection to breath. Now we're going to start to get a little bit more twisty. Inhale, we're going to step this right foot through between the hands. Find a high lunge, lifting up and out from the waist. Exhale, float the hands to heart center. Inhale here, lift up and out from the waist. As we exhale, we're twisting to the right. Left elbow hooks over that right knee. Drop the back leg down to modify. Gaze comes up to the ceiling. Option here to open the arms out, so revolved side angle. Now from here, a little bit of a dynamic transition for you. We're going to step that left foot in slightly, draw that heel down, but the left toes are at an angle. Can you move into your revolved Trikonasana, revolved triangle? Use blocks and props here. So you could have a block under this left hand. And then, final little transition on this side. We're going to bring that left hand down to the mat. Right hand still reaching up. No worries if you're falling out and wobbling. So am I. So finding your revolved half moon. Okay, breathe into that space, keep breathing. Well done, release, step it back, and Vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And breathe. Take a child's pose here if you need to. Okay, so this time I'm going to show you with the block. Nice way to support you in this sequence. So, inhale, sweep the left foot through between the hands and reach the fingertips up to the sky. Find that high lunge. Lifting up and out from the waist. Bring the hands to heart center. Take an inhale first, really lifting up and out from the waist. Exhale, twist to the left. Right elbow comes to the left thigh. You could be working here. Maybe you're opening out into your revolved side angle. So it could be that you're somewhere in between. You want to have a block to support you. Now, using the block here, this is really going to help with this transition. So we step the right leg in, bringing the heel down to the mat. Legs are lengthened, finding the revolved Trikonasana. So you might even like to have the block up slightly higher here. Give yourself that space. Okay? Breathing. And then transitioning into your revolved half moon. So again, this right hand can stay with the block. Right leg reaches off the mat, but the left arm is sending up towards the sky. Well done. Releasing. Bring everything back down to the mat. Well done. That was a very dynamic sequence. Inhale, come through to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, float it back to downward facing dog. Keep pressing the mat away with your hands. Inhale, gaze comes between the hands. Step or jump the feet in. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Start to face sideways and take a big step out. We want the toes pointing forwards, feet are straight. Hands can start on the hips. Inhaling here, lifting the ribs away from the hips. As you exhale, hinging from the hips, fold forwards, finding your Prasarita Padottanasana. So you can have a micro bend through the legs if you need to. Just remember, take a child's pose at any time. Listen to the body. This practice is not about how deep we can come into a pose or what pose we can do. It's not about what we're doing to our body or to yourself. It's about what is this practice doing for you as a whole. What do you need it today in this practice? What awareness can you find in this practice? So now you're either going to stay in your fold here, or I'm going to offer the option, if it's in your practice, to take your tripod headstand. So just make sure that you've got that nice triangle with your head and your hands. Don't practice if you're new to headstands, then I don't recommend starting your headstand journey alone. Please do it with someone. But yeah, if it's in your practice and you're there, then you can float the head down to the mat and bring the legs away. See if you can bring them up and around and together. Finding that inversion. A lot of the weight is in the arms and the hands in your headstand. And floating back down, so opening the legs back out, bringing them back down to your Prasarita. Taking your time, no rush. I'm going to bring the hands back to the hips. Inhale, start to lift the chest away slowly, making your way back up. Walk those feet in together now. Grounding through the feet. Then lifting up onto the toes here. Bring the fingertips out in front. I want you to slowly start to bend through the legs and lower the hips down towards the mat. Sometimes it can help to squeeze the thighs in together here. See what works for you. And then when you're ready, I want you to sit the hips back, use the hands if you need to. And we're going to let ourselves come down to a lying position on the mat. I want you to take your knees in towards the chest. Left arm's going to come out to the left side. Legs are going to drop over to the right. Gaze comes over to the left. Supine twist. Take any support that you need. You can take an extra hook here with the left leg over the right to intensify the twist if that feels good for you. You can close the eyes here as well if that's comfortable. Finding a sense of surrender and letting go. One more breath here. Unhooking the legs, drawing them back to center. And coming onto the other side, so the right arm's going to come out, the left leg's going to drop over. Remember, you can adjust the hips as much as you need to. You can take the hook. Head's dropping over to the right, so head is coming in the opposite direction to the legs. The more that you let go here, the more that your body will naturally sink into the twist. And perhaps just having a moment of gratitude for the lineage of yoga, this practice, and towards yourself for showing up here on your mat today. For giving yourself this time, this space. Starting to slowly unravel from the twist on this side. And just gently rocking yourself up to seated or making your way back to your seated position. We're going to bring the hands to heart center. Raise the hands to the forehead to acknowledge your inner wisdom. Bring the hands to your lips to acknowledge speaking your truth. To your heart to acknowledge living with compassion. And to the ground to acknowledge being in this present moment. Thank you so much for being here and practicing with me. Please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. There is a link below to all the other things that I offer. So I do an online membership where there's longer practices, more meditations, asana alignment, etc. So do check that out and check out my live Zoom classes. But yes, can't wait to see you again very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.